Okay, I'm doing the opener. Hello, hello.
Today,
Everybody doing? Welcome to Therapy of the Absurd, episode 34. How's everybody's day going?
Woo-woo.
Woo!
let's start with our guest host tonight, Mistress K.
Hi. Today's been a slow day for me. Yeah, I didn't really do much. I just tried to tidy my house, which doesn't really happen. So I didn't do much today. I was mostly looking at people's like Facebook and Instagram feeds today because like 4 of my friends got engaged.
Ooh.
And I'm like, is this an April Fool's joke? And they're like, it's not an April Fool's joke. And I was just like, ugh. Oh. I was like, well, congratulations. I don't know. And then another person posted a baby, like a sonogram of a baby. And I was just like, oh, this is probably not the best day to go live with any like big news. Probably not today.
Seriously. Jeez.
So Dana, how was your week or day or month? I don't know.
The day was good. You guys
You can
hear
pick
me?
a time period.
Okay, yeah, like so. The day was good, no complaints. I got off to I stayed up late working on some stuff, so I got up late, and then like I didn't structure it, but I did pick up my dry cleaning. I got the 2 things that make living on Earth wonderful. I got some watermelon and some sushi.
Ooh, yummy.
That's what heaven looks like to me. And then I just got off of a great show. We were raising money for cancer, and it's a series of shows, and it looks like they've been really raising a lot of money. And Shane was on the show, and it's so funny. Like we talk about comedy and roasting, and I don't feel like I roast. I feel like I toast, but I like to try to give like good, interesting toast. And it starts with yourself. So one of my jokes always is when I wear like the high bun and my little ribbons, I always say 2 things. I'm either giving you my best Vanessa Bell Calloway from Coming to America, or I'm giving you my best Amanda Gorman. If I've got on my yellow and my red, then I'm giving you my best Amanda Gorman from, Inauguration. But Shane actually called me out because, as usual, this is the weird thing. I'll leave it right here. Like, I guess I probably was the only Black woman or woman of color, in the audience period. It's a wonderful audience. No big deal. Actually, Kiki Young from Crazy Woke Asians was on the bill with us. She was amazing. And then April Weber, who I've done several shows with. But anyway, I was eating, and Shang's like, "Oh, the sister is there eating," and I was like, and he was like, she's got her best Coming to America going, and I was just cracking up because I was like, "Hey, he's got my outer comedy, my roasting going." But I'm beginning to really, like I said, I think I'm more of a toaster than a roaster, but I love all of that. I think I was telling you guys, Jeff Ross.
Oh yeah, Jeff Ross, roast battle.
Jeff Ross, I had it down, so he teased me about looking like Whoopi Goldberg a couple weeks ago. Like, the biggest compliment. Anyway, so as you can see, my days, it's just been a day. It's the day in the life of a comic. That's all I can say. And I think I got my eyeshadow right. That's probably my biggest accomplishment.
Looks nice.
Like I mixed some colors, and we'll leave it right there.
I actually immediately I thought of a comeback for you though. If you wanted one, was I get to work like Whoopi Goldberg, and you get to look like Jeff Ross. And I love you, Jeff Ross, by the way. But I hope you like that joke.
Listen, you can't roast Shang Forbes. You just can't. Okay, the guy is too slick. He's too quick. That's the New Yorker. Like you just can't go there with him. Whatever you're gonna battle him with, he's just.
No, that's great. He's going to come back, but I did actually think of something. I don't usually think of anything, so I wanted to share with the group, not with Jeff Ross. He's not watching the show, I think.
And I don't think I would try to roast. I don't think I would try to roast Jeff Ross or Shang, back. And I mean, if we were, we're all behind the scenes here, but if it was, I don't know, like maybe, obviously we were in a parking lot, by a car, and we were just running it maybe for fun. But I love them both. Anyway, so that honestly, as you could tell, that made my day. I think that was like fun or whatever. This and this eyeshadow. I'll leave it at that.
Right. How was your day, Dan?
Well, last weekend.
Today.
We got a puppy.
Ooh.
What kind?
Well, we got it's a terrier mixed with a German Shepherd and possibly this other dog. Oh, what's that thing called? Oh, a Cocker Spaniel. So that's all the traits we're seeing in this dog. But we went to a puppy lottery and we got it. And it's Lauren, it is 7 weeks old right now. So very, very small puppy from Tijuana. So, we're helping. Like, we're just every once in a while I look out the window and make sure ice isn't rolling down here. But
where's the dog from? Does it have its
she's born here. She's born here. So.
Does the dog have its papers?
But anyways, what's it called? She's a cute little pup and everything, but she really likes to bite.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
yeah. And one time I saw her like playing with some poop, and so
yeah, they do that.
Yeah, I don't want to be crude, but she might be into eating ass.
It's possible.
Well, that was crude. Like if you didn't want to be crude,
the problem is it's really put a damper.
First of all, can I just say something? Don't yuck someone else's yum. Okay,
I say that too. Yes, thank you.
There's a lot of booty eaters out there. Okay, like eating booty is not so bad. We have these things. They're magical things called wet wipes nowadays. So you're good.
Dude, toss a salad.
No. Well, I'm not yucking the yum. It's just it's really put a damper on naked floor puzzle time.
What? My wife said redirect.
None of you do this. I got to tell you, it's the best way to make sure the kids stay in their room for like 2 hours.
Oh,
they will not come out.
Did you say naked floor time? Is that
naked floor puzzle time? Usually pick like a 1,000-piece puzzle. It takes a couple hours. Yeah, naked floor puzzle. You never just lie naked on the floor and do a puzzle? Is it just my household, my family, my extended family?
That would just
wait. By a show of hands, who owns a puzzle? Okay. Yeah.
I need one. I should get one. I'm bad. I'm horrible.
Where is it? Let me see. I just bought this from Target.
Ooh,
game.
Nice.
I haven't played yet. But y'all, and you guys know how I feel about RBG, although I am sporting Shirley Chisholm.
Oh, there
today.
you go. Very nice.
You guys know how I feel about RBG. Y'all know.
Ours ate poop. LOL, not anymore though. Yeah, it's a phase.
Right. We remember the poop eating parasite phase, and we are grateful.
Look at Nick's next one. He's from my family.
See, the only thing I would worry about your dog
that's disturbing. That's really disturbing, Nick.
Is that like your dog would eat the poop and then bite you, and then you could get like a bacterial infection or like E. coli poisoning.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot. There's a lot of. It's just one of those things that they do.
Yours actually does a lot more. I've only seen it happen once, but I thought.
Well, if they get a parasite or they have one, they tend to eat it a lot.
Really, we went through that phase, but your puppy wasn't biting. Like I mean, I feel like I have had a front row seat to all of the puppy dog shit eating growth phase chronicles, like because I am like I've been right here for every step before we had the puppy, when we were waiting for the countdown to the arrival of the puppy, and then the successive visits to the vet, and this is but your puppy wasn't biting, Stefan, so that phase, was she? You didn't tell her. Well, you didn't tell her.
I mean, I'm still writing material about that, but but when they're teething though, so what Dan's going through is just a minor thing. Those are cute little nibbles. When they start teething, they don't necessarily try to hurt you, but they get real nippy. So right now you're in a cute little.
We're stopping her actually right now because newer knowledge says you stop them from doing it.
Oh yeah, you're supposed to replace it with a toy. So if they're biting something you don't like, instead of just saying no, you keep emphasizing the toy over and over until they get the toy thing.
Yeah, or I give them my neighbor's legs.
Oh my.
Right, because if they're teething, I'm assuming that all biology is the same, then they're itching. It's the same for everybody on here except Mrs. K has kids. You guys know the deal. If our kids
are a kid.
Oh, you do.
I have a stepdaughter.
I didn't know that, but okay. So how long have you been with her?
A year.
Okay, how old is she?
She's 6.
Okay, but were you there? But you weren't there for the teething stage. I apologize, Mrs. K. Did I not?
Wait, you can't assume that, Dana.
I mean, because I didn't push her out, don't mean I don't have one. I mean, I consider her a rescue, but
rescue.
Right. My bad, super my bad. But I'm just saying, you guys know about the teething phase. It's just like with our babies. With babies, like you got to give.
I'm not worried about the teething phase with her. I'm worried about the 12 outfits a day change. Okay.
Oh.
Like, miss, I come over and I only have this outfit on for 5 minutes and then I'm going to go change. And I'm like, where are you going? We're in the middle of a global pepperoni. Like,
right.
you're 6. Like, where are you going, Miss
That's
Fabulous?
what I was about to say. Where was you? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it
wow.
only gets worse if they want to one day be a speed dresser. So
As long as she wants to put clothes on and not take them off, aka stripper, that's all good, right?
Yes, yes. I have a daughter. I agree.
And you guys, like, it's total sidebar. I just saw a little interview with Rashida Jones, and she has done a documentary. Have you guys heard about this? Like, there's the porn industry as we kind of know the professional.
Oh yeah, I know
industry,
what you're talking about. Yeah,
but there's an amateur porn industry. Like, I feel like I had no idea.
Life After Porn or something like that.
Yeah, like, and I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
But I'm like so blown away. I just, like, I'm a big fan of Rashida Jones. Period.
Oh no, yeah, she's beautiful.
Right. But just, she's gifted too. And in terms of acting and all the things. And obviously I grew up on her dad's music. So I totally, but I just didn't know that. So when you guys were just talking about that just now, I was just like, I had no idea that such a thing existed. Amateur porn, and that it's an industry, like that it's.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Well, yeah, there was recently an article I saw on Reddit or something. I forget which newspaper it was in, but it was talking about how recently Pornhub purged tons of videos from amateur sources because some of them had people either underage or possibly underage, or people that were not of sound mental capacity when the act was happening. And so they actually did this is the interesting thing about that website. They give tons of money to charity. They do a bunch of great causes. And then when they find out there's a problem, they actually take care of it instead of Facebook going, I don't know what we can do. They, QAnon is a valid belief, I guess.
Well, that's because they get a big tax break, first and foremost. And second of all, you should not be watching any porn links that are free. You should be watching feminist porn. Okay, this is where my feminist comes out. Feminist porn, you actually have to pay for it because not only do the directors get paid, but the people that are the performers are actually getting paid a living wage. Okay, believe it or not, porn stars do not make a lot of money these days.
It's a flooded industry.
That is good to know, though. Like, I mean, I'm not necessarily, but this is, I'm glad to know. It's just because, like, these are just things I don't know because it's just not like I was.
Well,
feminist porn. I was. Yeah.
It's also like it's real people. You're getting the LGBTQIA folks. You're getting people with like real bodies. You're not getting the ones that have like the bleach assholes. You know what I mean? Like you're getting
wait, what?
you're getting the real people. Like the fact that when you unzip a man's trousers, it's not like boom in your face. It's like, oh, you actually have to work for it, type of deal.
I don't know. When you're a really young guy, it's always boom in the face. At least the first 2 times.
No, I've never seen a trouser snake jump out at me. It's always just like, oh my god, my arm's gonna fall off. Like, what's happening here?
I love this. That's
why I have such massive guns, guys.
You should try more sober dudes.
My week was okay. Can't complain too much. I did get to see the new Godzilla versus King Kong. Transition from Dong to King Kong, and I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Where you looking for Godzilla?
What did you say? Dong to King Kong?
Yes.
It's something in the canon. I'm not.
King Kong, yes. It's not another monster. It's okay. It's okay.
That's cool. It's like a Pokemon, right?
Like Pokemon,
but a really big one.
Yes. So that was pretty good. And then, oh my gosh, I know there's something else something else big is dropped as well. Oh yeah. There's for those of you out there who like adult cartoons. No, there's no pornography in it, but adult cartoons that are extremely violent and have really good stories. Amazon Prime has something on there by Robert Kirkman and 2 other writers. He's the writer-creator of Walking Dead, but this is a superhero show for adults called Invincible. So if that's your thing, that's something you're into, definitely check that out. So that's every Friday there's a new episode. So, but other than that, the dog got 2 baths today. The dog does not stink, thank goodness, because when she stinks, I don't want her close. I want her to stay 12 feet away, not 6 feet. Other than that, that's about it. That's about it.
And if we asked you for movies, you would be able to talk for 30 minutes straight, Stefan.
Probably. Maybe longer. I don't know.
Well, intro.
Yes, we do have an amazing guest.
We do. And so I'm so excited, you guys. Clubhouse. Let's talk about it. It's become a thing. For real, for real. It has become a cultural phenomenon. If nothing else, a lot of people it's encouraging iPhone usage. And so for those that don't know, and this woman that we're about to host on, this amazing comic and just amazing person, is way huger than Clubhouse. But I talk about Clubhouse as a segue in because I am meeting a whole community and tribe of comedians and folks that I look forward to when we are, as we come out of this, that I get to meet in person. And Manu is an incredible mod and the nickname is Mod, but moderator on Clubhouse Rooms for the Laugh Factory. And the Laugh Factory is, as we know, we talked with Corinne a couple of weeks ago, who's doing these amazing workshops from sketch to a roasting workshop to just workshop on crowd work. I fell on my face the other day trying to do a crowd work workshop in there, and just offering a safe space for growth as a comedian. And Manu is part of kind of the crew of I would say women, even though Laugh Factory, I believe, is owned by men. And it seems like everything that we've met, there's this amazing crew of women who are leading the charge for comedy education, for comedy elevation. And Manu is a sergeant in that army. And so we'd like to welcome to the broadcast, Manu from Clubhouse. Manu, welcome.
Hello.
And Manu, I feel like I would be butchering your last name, so I'm not going to try to say your last name.
Yeah, girl, it's Maciel, but nobody cares.
Maciel.
Okay. Yeah. With that introduction, I was like, is anybody else coming? Because that's definitely not me. But thank you.
Oh, we got the wrong Manu. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah, my mom's going to be proud. I just have to put subtitles on.
Right, and it's recorded. Yeah, so it's recorded. We can cut you the clip, and you can do what you need to do in terms of the subtitles on it. Welcome, Manu Maciel. Did I say that right, Maciel?
Yes, you did, yes. Queen.
To the broadcast. And it's also, you guys, this is the thing, much like the fact that, interestingly enough, I've been doing this show with Dan and Stefan for 6 months now, guys?
Like longer than that.
8 months? Like I always get it wrong. So help me.
About 8 months, little over 8 months.
I've never met them in person, but due to the world of comedy, I've actually met Mistress K in person and been blessed to do a show. Manu, I'm seeing you in person which is even, because Clubhouse is all audio. So I want to jump right in. First of all, tell us how long you've been doing comedy. You don't have to give away your age if that's not your thing, but how long have you been a comedy?
Oh, no, girl. I have no problem with that. I'm 38. And I've been doing comedy. I think professionally, I started with 18, 19.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a long time ago. No Clubhouse, not even cell phones. No, we had cell phones. They just did not work. But yeah, it's been a while.
Did you start in Brazil or were you already in the States?
No, I started in Brazil, where we did not have the stand-up format. It was not very popular at that time, where it was more like people going on stage and telling jokes. This is really an American thing, the stand-up format. So I was all over the place, just bombing, and oh my God, all my family and my friends, they think I'm funny, but then I go on stage, nobody understands me. So I had a big run, I would say, for the first laughs. They were not easy.
They were not easy. Got you. And then once you came to the States, what's the biggest? Tell us maybe the 3 major differences. Because is there now a comedy scene in Brazil?
Oh yeah, and it's big.
Whereabouts in Brazil are you from?
I'm from Rio, but I used to live in Sao Paulo.
Oh, I have friends there. So shout
Me
out to
too.
Brazil. Yeah.
Woo! Just make sure they're still alive because things there are kind of weird. Yeah, so the main differences, I would say, I did a lot of improv. Actually, improv, it's my whole base. And it's really different because you have to think in another language, and not only language, but culture. So up to, I would say, 3 years ago or 2 years ago, the right way to refer to a black person in Brazil would be to use the N word, because that is considered race. Black is just a color, is not a race. So it would be Caucasian or N word or other things. And the culture that you don't have, it's crucial for, especially for improv and crowd work, because in Brazil I know the soccer teams I can play with, I know the states they are recognized by so and so and things, and that we are all used to listening to when we are kids. But here I did not have that. So basically my improv background felt flat. It was like, wow. I could use it, but it was not as fast because I had to think, and then I had to translate, and then I had to filter to know if that was offensive or appropriate to United States. So it was even harder. I don't know where my mind was that I thought, okay, I'm bumping here, so maybe I should go to LA and try Laugh Factory. But yeah, I just can't.
And then how did you become involved with the Laugh Factory?
So when I came here, I was part of a competition in Brazil, and I won a scholarship. So I came here to study acting for film and comedy and blah blah blah. And of course, the Laugh Factory was like boom, everything that a comic wants: Laugh Factory, Comedy Store, and improv are the places that you want to be. So I know some people from the Laugh Factory, some comics there, but is really now with me on Clubhouse because we are doing those workshops. And then I met Enrique and Corinne, and we kind of have the same idea because the Laugh Factory has been recognized by helping comics and finding new talents and really being like a lab for that. And as we were closed the last year, we could not do that. Not as constantly as they used to. So basically what we are doing now is giving people a voice. So if you never did comedy, you go there, you try your bits, and then you have a bunch of comedians trying to help you with that, which I think it's amazing because I never had that. When you go to the open mic, sometimes you bump because people are so self-absorbed because they are gonna go next, or because they know where the punchline has to be, they know the techniques. We don't have the same ears like a regular audience. So that space, I think, helped me with my writer's block because no, I'm as a comedian, I'm a procrastinator, so I did not spend my whole pandemic writing, and I was rusty, I have to say, and that room helped me a lot.
Wow. Now take me back because I want to get these. So when did you get to, what year did you get to the States, if you don't mind?
7 years ago.
So not long at all. And then you clearly became involved with the Laugh Factory before the pandemic. So you and Corinne go back, like you guys know each other?
No, actually no. I've been to the Laugh Factory and then I haven't met her. Yeah, no. I was like, we were at the same time in the same place, but we never met, or at least we don't recognize each other. We were
right. Ships passing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like some of those scenes in movies they show later on in the movie.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, were you there? Wait. I was there. Yeah,
you were there
and
the
it
whole
was the
time.
same.
You did it.
It was the same thing with Corinne and Theron. Theron was at the same event that Corinne, and they were like, wait, you were there? Oh yeah, we met. So it's like, yeah,
wow.
We were there.
Isn't that the myth though? Isn't that the myth though? There can only be one female comedian in the room, right? Like that's the myth. That's
usually the myth. you can only have one good female comedian in the room, and that's never me. So I'm not even concerned.
Oh no. No, sis. We're running in packs now. We're running in packs.
Right.
Seriously. Tear down the
will never
patriarchy.
I'll never understand.
Yes.
So now have you pre-pandemic, but have you had a chance to go home to Rio to do comedy and like
After I came here, no, because of the visa and the paperwork and the process of keep renewing it. I'm stuck here. Like, this country loves me in a way that I cannot leave. Well, I can always leave. I can just not come back if I leave. And I'm legal. If anybody from immigration is listening to this, I have my papers. It's all good. I just have to renew it every year. You never know who's listening to this, right? Maybe knock on my door. Hi, ISIS. So yeah, I'm legal. Still legal. I just cannot go back because of the process. I have to wait for the final green line so I can go. So it's been 7 years that I don't eat real Brazilian food.
Oh.
Listen, you got to travel. So my people are from Boston, right? And there's this place called Marlboro, and it's Little Brazil. If anybody's watching, shout out to Little Brazil and Marlboro. And let me tell you, there is not a person that speaks English there. It's all Portuguese. It's all Brazilians. Everywhere you go, you can get Brazilian food, and it's like not commercialized at all. It's not American based or anything like that. Like, so you got to get out of LA, girl. You got to get out of here.
No,
near me, there's a Brazilian barbecue place.
Yeah, but
no.
But now I feel sad because that means all the Brazilian barbecue places we went to were a lie.
Yes. If they don't make you pay by the pound, that's not a real Brazilian place.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no American can afford to eat like that. I mean, that would go to one.
But that's actually true, because when you have people from other countries trying to cook Brazilian food, sometimes they put their own spices and it changes the taste. Like, I know when somebody from Mexico is doing that, because it's usually spicier than it would be in Brazil. I'm like, I feel like, that cilantro should not be here. So you know that it's somebody from like following the recipe but adding their touch, and sometimes that takes away all the flavor for us.
Wow.
I'm feeling like I need a caipirinha right now, right? Like, I feel like I need that, right?
That
like,
I need to. That I know how to do. There is one thing there's like inside our blood. It's caipirinha. I don't even drink, but I know how to do it. It's like weird. And according to my friends, mine is good. So I'll hook you up.
Yes, definitely. We'll have to get cocktails soon.
I love being around drunk people.
When we went to the employees only show, you don't drink. Like I just remembered when we were there that night.
I'm the weirdest kind of Brazilian that you ever met in your life. First, because I'm Brazilian and Jewish, and those words only go together when it's like Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So people usually go, I'm like, no, I don't know how to fight. I don't drink. I don't have a beautiful tan. My body is not like a sculpture or anything that you think that the stereotype of the Brazilian, that's not me, like, at all. I celebrate 4th of July, guys. I'm like, hey, let's go, America.
That's because they're watching you. You know that, right?
I know.
Why would you give that
up? That's the only reason I wasn't kicked out.
Girl,
yet.
7 years and you ain't find yourself a sponsor yet? What's happening? Girl, we need to hang out. Like, I'll clear this green card situation up real quick. Like,
I love that I give her a problem, she comes with the solution. I give her a problem, she's like, oh, bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, it's because we bitch too much. Like, I'm a solution-based girl. I'm like, okay, I see a problem, let's fix it.
I'm firing my therapist tonight, and you're going to take over my life, because honestly, why am I spending all that money? You were here, and you just solved my 3 major concerns in life. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, when the bars open back up, watch out. Watch out, okay? Like, I am the best wing person. Like, my spirit animal is a shark, okay? I'm like, I go into a club like we are shopping, girl. I'm like, okay, girl, which one you want? Which one you want? And we'll go get them.
I need you in my life because my spirit animal is like a panda bear. I eat and I watch Netflix and then I eat again, and
No, you're
that's
just
basically
hungover
it.
from 2020. That's what it is. People are still hungover from 2020. That's kind of what it is. Like
But it's been like that
2021.
my whole life.
Oh,
It's like,
Stacy said she's a panda bear
actually-
too.
I love, well, I'm not gonna say that I love coronavirus, but I love the pandemic thing because I didn't need any excuses. I am volunteer at the hospital, so every time people would call me for something and be like, you know what, I'm in the risk group. I cannot be around you guys, but next time maybe. And like my whole year, I did not have to find an excuse not to be working out. The gyms were closed. Oh, too bad. That was the year I decided to start.
So
Okay,
how are
maybe
you
5 years.
finding Zoom comedy? Are you liking it? Are you not liking
hate
it?
it. No, I hate it.
That was bad. I hate it.
I hate it. Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I'm not like a very people person, as you might have noticed. I hate small talk. I'm that kind of person that if I'm putting my trash out and I hear my neighbor opening her door, I'm like, I hold my breath. I hold my door. I'm like, shh, go.
Yeah.
And then I open it. So I don't like small talk, but in comedy, we need people. We need to see their reaction. It's the only way that we can tailor the material and know if we are doing good or bad. Or that thing of drivings, doing comedy for a parking lot and see like lots of flashing lights. It's not for me. And the Zoom thing, it's not either. I never know if people are not laughing, if I'm bummed, if my connection is lost, if they don't understand my accent, if my mic is the battery is over. Sometimes I'm alone in the room because I forgot to put people in. It's a hot mess. It's just not for me. I hate it with all my power.
Well, I love getting heckled by people that forget to turn their mic off.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, that's fun. That's
And
fun.
then these people are having like real life moments. They're like, girl, he cheated on you? No way. And then what happened? Girl. No, it's just like, hello. Like, why are you here if you're not paying attention to us?
Right. I went to a Zoom show just to support my friends, and actually we had one at the Laugh Factory too. But you had people like doing their nails and their pajamas and like this, and the other one was just knitting, and then you look at the person and she's like,
Yeah.
it's not
No,
for you.
they
That
are always
reaction's
like
not
this.
for you. Yeah, and then I honestly had not with me, but I saw a lady. She just took a nap, and this is not very. If you're listening to this, sleepy lady, don't do that again because that's rude. We are trying to make you laugh. We just went through a pandemic. We are comedians, therefore we have mental issues. So if we are trying to do that for you, please be mindful and don't sleep during our set, or at least turn your camera off.
See, I live for
And-
those people because I call them out. And I'm like, girl, what are you knitting? Are you knitting a hammock or like a Afghan? Like, what are you doing? Doilies? Like, what's happening here? You know, like I love calling those people out. Like I could do a whole Zoom show just on what people were doing in their little bubble, right? It's like Hollywood Squares. You're just like, Dana Keel. All right, girl, what's going on with that background? Like,
Right.
what table did you steal that from? Is that velvet? Like you could go off, right? And
She
then like,
only does blue. She only does blue comedy.
Right.
Yeah, better why she always goes blue.
That was brilliant.
That was a bad joke, but okay.
I'm not going to make the same joke about my background. What's it called?
I love that though. Blue comedy of all the roasts, that is both of you guys. That is because I got roasted one night and they were just like, you don't have a green screen. Why you got a blue screen? And it was supposed to be a roast, but I was like, well, that's like, I mean, you were trying to roast me, but in my head, I'm like, that wasn't, but whatever. But I do think that there's something funny about my royal blue my royal blue background compared. So anyway, like here I am, the scientist of comedy, always analyzing. But I loved that
No,
roast.
but I think when, well, I'm not, of course, I'm not smart enough to figure that out, but I think green and blue, when you're going to change the background or do something graphic, they work the same because they are far distance from the skin color and they really work. So I've seen blue screens and green screens. So that
was
was
more
green
used
phobia right there.
I thought
Yeah,
you were
that-
using this to like catfish somebody because men like bright colors.
Oh, did I catfish
So-
someone with this?
Yeah, like you got your
Fuck,
blue, you got your pink, right? If you put your yellow and your red, when you're just like visually very colorful and very appealing to watch on the
like
bubble
dudes
screen.
in general or weeboos? I mean, which
See,
one?
Weeboos.
I just can see so many things that I've been doing wrong my whole life because look, I'm like black almost all the time. I look like a widow or something. And now
Yeah, but you're pretty
that
and
explains
blonde.
a
Like
lot.
you're fine.
I
You're
was like,
pretty
you're
and blonde. You're good.
divinely
You've got
gorgeous.
perfect bone structure. and like people can fetishize you, right? Because you've got that whole exotic thing going on.
Yeah, I love how the word exotic can fit it basically everything. You try something you don't really like, exotic taste. Like you look at your aunt's curtains, yeah, that's exotic. And you look at Giselle, yeah, she's exotic. You just have to change the tone, and it's a completely different meaning. I love that.
Well,
word.
this is LA. It's a city of how do you sell yourself, right? You're just
Well,
like,
and always make sure you say exotic and not erotic at the wrong time. Like, oh, she's pretty erotic. Fuck.
I have a friend who was she's brave, so I have to give her that. And she was trying to learn English, and she would never be afraid of speaking with strangers and everything. And somebody complimented her hair, and she wanted to say that she had a Brazilian blow dry, and she was like, "Yeah, I just had a Brazilian blow job."
Yeah.
Girl, we all know you did, but how does that relate to your hair? It just doesn't make any sense. We are killers and those kinds of things.
Which brings me, you just actually like opened a whole Pandora's box. You guys just let me know how our time is, and I know Manu, you have to go back. So, like in this country, we have the Brazilian blowout, like for the hair. But this is what I want to know. Do you know why in this country we name a certain type of waxing, for the ladies, the Brazilian? Like, is there really like a tie? Is that style of waxing from Brazil? Like,
I'm glad
curious.
you asked because I get that a lot. Usually when I say that I'm Brazilian, people immediately think, okay, bald vagina. And yes, we really like it. And almost hairless body. The only one that we keep it's up here, and everything else like clean. So I don't know if it's because there are lots of beaches and places where people wear bikinis a lot, and they are always with the body exposed. As you can see, I'm not one of those people. But yes, it's shaved because even if you're not receiving any visitors, you should keep your house clean, right? So that's my theory. And yeah, we
Well,
I never
thank you for
know.
answering that question, and thank you, Dana, for being the one that asked it for us.
Right, because I had my first, only, and last one. Was that the top of last year or the top of
Ouch.
2019?
Girl.
But I was just like, and my one of my best friends is an esthetician. This is an interesting story I'll share. She's an esthetician, and she was actually, training, a young woman who was coming to the shop. So I wanted, I went in there just to get like kind of my leg wax and to get, the facial wax I get done. Of course, because I am her best friend and she is mine, she's like, "Oh no, you're the guinea pig." So once they get me on the table, then I'm being told what waxes and what services I will be getting, of which is included a Brazilian. And so
I'm sorry.
This is, yeah, like so I was like, okay, well, I'm I wish I had I'm working on my British accent. I'm game for a laugh. So I'm like, okay, I'm game. Oh my goodness. The first thing she says is, okay, you've got to put your legs in the what did she call it? Because it's basically like you have to pretend, like for me, I had to pretend like I was in stirrups. And I'm just like, girl. So I do this and I'm like, girl. And then she's talking to and explaining to her trainee, okay, her apprentice. Okay, you've got to do everything fast because the women, so like even if you're conversing, you have to do everything really fast because obviously, you want, it has to go fast. It has to be whatever you want to make the wax is still hot. And of course, so she's trying to train the girl. The girl is learning how to do this on me. And then my friend Charlie, right? My friend Charlie, and she's a girl. She's just like, did you get that C-section scar? Like when you like, oh my God, your C-section scar is awesome. I'm like, this is too many things at one time. I'm okay with the compliment on my C-section scar. And then she looks at her trainee like, she's like, you can't ask anybody that. She's my girl. That's the only reason I'm asking, but you can't have that conversation with her. I'm like, this is too much. Like you're trying to explain to her how to do the Brazilian. You're actually giving a compliment on my C-section scar, which is somehow weirdly kind. Thank you for the compliment, but I'm just not sure that this is how it's all supposed to go. Like right now, like this is the moment that we're having. But anyway, a lot of fun.
I would describe it as embarrassing because every time somebody tells me, like men that were supposed to be doing their prostate cancer exam or something like that, oh no, that's extreme. I'm like, dude, have you ever had a person saying, could you please spread it a little bit further so I can go with my spatula? And if you have a third person in the room, like watching how it's done, Donna, I feel for you, girl.
Girl, like because it was,
it's like some positions that you have to be. It's almost like a yoga thing that it is. And then the bitch is like, oh, can I say sorry?
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Oh, okay. The bitch is like, okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, and then she goes 1, and you.
Right.
And then you want to touch it to see if it's still there, if the skin's still there.
Did you pull it off?
Right. Did you pull it off?
But that's not even the worst part. That's not even the worst part. Because like the vagina is used to getting pounded. It's when they do your butt crack.
Talk about yours.
Your butt crack is the worst part.
Because I was like, this has to stop. But they were like, no. And they from the rooter to the tutor is, what happened.
Rooted to the tutor. That is the weirdest Denny's menu item I've ever heard of.
That's the name of the comedy special. I love it.
From the rooter to the tutor.
And I can only reiterate, like when we talk about exposed and feeling exposed, geez, Pete, that getting a Brazilian is a new level. I don't think I felt that exposed even when I had my son, when I had a cesarean. Like, I don't recall. I mean, I guess because they cut you open, so they don't, no one's really paying.
C-section. Yeah.
Like they don't. I guess they're not. There's not as much attention paid to your private parts in the same way because they're cutting you open to pull the baby out a different way as opposed to pulling the baby out, this way. So, oh my God.
Didn't you feel amazing after it was done though?
Which part, the Brazilian or the C-section? What are we asking?
The Brazilian C-section.
Who cares about the baby? Get it out quick. I'm saying, like, did you feel amazing after you had the Brazilian wax?
I felt like I had a secret that I could not tell. I felt like,
no. See, like when I got mine done, I got mine done by an actual Brazilian. And I was walking out of there and I was like, do you want to see it? Like I was like trying to show everybody because I was so like proud. Like I felt like I had gotten like, like a Girl Scout merit badge. I was like, I went through that, girl. Like it was torture.
Girl,
and then when you take a shower, take a shower is one of the best feelings ever because it's like the water goes to places that you never thought. It's like, woo, where are you going? I don't know where you're going, but I want to go too. It's nice. Everything is easier. Right. Yeah, you never have like the problem or the issue or the concern to have your own pubic hair.
No, I manscape my entire body. So
you get the way less traction on slip and slides. It's awesome.
Right. I used to have a client. He had a fetish for getting waxed. And he was like a teddy bear. Like he had that teddy bear sweater. Really hairy. And I'd be like ripping it, and he would get like so much pleasure of me ripping that. I was just like, these are the things I've done for money. Like I'm telling you, it's just
my gosh.
Dan, you need to be waxed? You need some help there?
Wait. No, that's gonna make naked floor puzzle time so much better. It's gonna be a great night.
About that,
It's like,
is
what?
that
Yes,
is there an
Manu.
American thing like the
Yes,
naked puzzle?
yes, there is, and I want you to
Because
believe that.
okay, good.
No, only at
I'm
Dan's
definitely
house.
gonna use that on
Manu, it's only
myself.
at Dan's house. It's only at
I
Dan's
feel
house.
like
Oh,
Hasbro is
okay.
like watching this, and that's going to be like the new game that they
Yeah,
come
they're
out
like
for,
taking.
Christmas.
They're like
Naked puzzle
they're gonna write the
time!
next specs for the puzzle, and he's like, they are like, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
we have to put on the
and
box
then
that it's 18
there,
plus.
yes, exactly. It's appropriate for if you want to do it naked. Like,
18 and above.
weird.
I would say Hasbro will officially start making adult toys. So that is what Hasbro will do now. Adult toys as opposed to
They do. I mean, look at the potato heads. Come on now.
right.
Yeah, depending on how you use it, they are already adult toys.
Well,
They just
you know
don't
what was so
it.
funny about like how they're like, oh, the potato head is gender non-binary. I was like, if you ever Googled what a potato is, it was always non-binary. Like,
Yep, and people, please stop vegetable abuse. That's not fun. Oh boy, poor cucumbers. They go through a lot. I just feel for them. Yeah, it's weird. I know.
Nick
People-
says, Nick says she pulled your last dinner out with one swap, and then I'm assuming that might have been swoop, but it's okay. I'll take swap. The rhyme swap. And then Preston says, "Wait, what happened with waxing? Was just tending to my chickens." Like you guys, how much more time do we have with Manu? If somebody doesn't mind.
If she's got to go, it's
No, I have a question. So I just
okay.
Go for it, girl.
Okay, so Manu, 7 years away from home, doing comedy here, doing big things, great. Like, what do you miss most about Rio?
Food.
Okay,
said that.
all right. So we talk. Okay.
Yeah, I have family, but food comes first. If I had to choose between bringing my family over or food over, would be food and then family. Actually, not really family, just my mom. Yeah. Well, they don't speak English, so they never know what I'm saying. So, yeah, just food and my mom. All the rest is like, yeah, you can stay there. Like, people ask me always, would you be here like forever if you had to sign a paper and never go back to Brazil? I'm like, where do I sign? Unfortunately, that was never an official question, but yeah, girl, I don't know.
Does your family like make requests of you to send stuff home to them?
Yeah, girl,
Yeah,
I'm basically
right?
an Amazon hub here. Yeah.
What
What
type
is like
of
the
things
weirdest
are-
thing? What's like
Yeah.
the weirdest thing they asked you to send to them?
Dildos. Whoop. That was not
Somebody's
mine.
got their
by the way.
cell phone.
Mine-
Wait,
that
they
was-
want you to send you. They want you to send them dildos.
Yeah, because they.
Why is that so shocking to you, Dan? Hello.
Yeah,
No,
Dan, come on.
Hey,
You
I
were
ain't
the
kink
one
shaming
naked
nobody.
playing
What
puzzles.
I'm saying is,
Right.
Yes,
They don't
naked
have
puzzle man.
cucumbers
they
in
don't
Brazil.
make any over there.
They
They're
do,
more
but
expensive.
everything there
More
is more expensive.
Yeah, way more
It's
expensive.
like whatever you pay $100 here would be around 15,000 reais, which would be $300.
That's like
Oh, wow.
Australia.
At least three
Australia
times
has
the
yeah.
price.
Australia has
So
the
it's a
same
great
problem.
way to send some cheap dick, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I can help you with that. But I had some weird things coming and things that I didn't even know what it was. Because sometimes I have my friends coming from Brazil and they buy everything. They send to my place, like clothing and stuff. And then they try everything here. And of course, I'm the idiot who has to go and return everything once they are gone because I have nothing else to do with my life. But so I've been saying like things like I don't understand anything about music, but amplifiers, pieces of guitars, you name it. That's like my Amazon list. I'm actually scared if I'm ever gonna be judged by my purchase on Amazon. I'm screwed because there's so many things there I cannot explain. But yeah, it's it's embarrassing. Like embarrassing, I think it's my favorite word. later.
A woman told me, one of our fellow comics, her name is Alice Cutler, and she talks about in her set buying a house. And she talks about how they look at your, they look at your income, but they also look at your spending. And she's just like, and you're getting these calls from the mortgage lender. And it's like, Miss Cutler, about this purchase at MedMen, we see 3 of them. And they, and so I'm just saying, like, you probably, until you're ready to buy a house, your purchases are private until that time. So don't worry about it. Manu, last question. You're a great comic. What was the hardest thing? You talked earlier about the language. Like, has it been tough, or do you still find yourself having revelations about the differences between, Portuguese and American English, which is, different from?
All the time. All the time. So many times I have to change a joke because I don't know if people are going to understand me, or because I don't know how to pronounce the word, or the word that I chose can have like 2 different meanings, like bitch and bitch. I'm like, did they say beach or did they say beach? And that can really fuck your joke. So I really have, so maybe you should use whore or something like that. But then the joke's not funny, and then I have to remove it. And sometimes I have references that people do not understand, like putting a puzzle together naked on the floor. I'm like, okay, that was an American thing. And then
So American. Tell everyone at home.
Yeah, and it's like,
It's a Dan thing. It's a
I
Dan.
really hope you
Right.
get them doing it in Brazil. I've seen your TV, and I can't wait.
Oh shit. And then you have
Like, send
people
us
saying
puzzles.
that the last Brazilian waxing that they have was like a year ago. So I'm like, wait, what is she doing now? Is she braiding? Dana, please. So it is, you try
Dan's beard.
to think.
Dan's beard. I'll leave it at that.
Mm.
There you go. You can braid it.
Yeah, quarantine.
I don't know if that's
Bushman.
for a character. He just wants to make some money at the end of the year. Come on, guys. That's Santa. I'm not judging him. I would do the same if I could. If I could use my hair to make money, but I'm Jewish, so I can basically use anything in my body to make money. Yeah, I would. I definitely would. Dan,
Wow.
you have my vote.
It's
Yeah,
more for
it's
science,
hard
right?
as fuck. And if anybody wants to correct my jokes, feel free to hit me up. I would love that. Like
No,
the first
love-
time that my teacher said, sorry, I cut you again.
No.
I'm Brazilian, I do this. The first time that my teacher said, let's give it up for Manu, I'm like, why is she giving up on me and asking everybody to do the same?
Oh,
I in my mind, give it up and give up was the same thing. I'm like, was I that bad?
and they're giving up on me. Like, what?
Like,
I'm like,
no, stay with me.
No, but it took me a while, and of course, I have my ego, so I don't like to immediately ask. And I was like, oh, wait, let's see how it goes. And then people are clapping, and then she was like, okay, keep giving it. I'm like, oh, so that's what it means. So, okay, got it. Okay, so give up. Oh, it's giving up. But if you put it on it, you like praise the person and never give up on her. So, okay. Weird Americans, weird. You do not make it easier for us. But yeah, some things like that are gonna happen.
It works the same way though, because when you hang out with a certain group of people, right? It doesn't matter if they're Brazilian, right, or they're Mexican, Dominican, whatever. They always tell you, "Oh, go over and say this to this person. It means this," right? And it never means that. It's always, you know what I mean? And
No,
exactly. So
yeah,
I mean, I would think that would make your comedy even funnier.
oh, thank you. It usually
Yeah.
doesn't work, but thank you. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I would take anything, girl. That I love the feeling that we have when we make people laugh. If we can transform and change everything bad that is happening to us in a positive thing, to have a positive outcome and save someone else's day, you got me right there. What do I have to do? Because sometimes, especially now, as a volunteer at the hospital, I'm seeing so many cases of depression, anxiety, overdose, because people are alone and having to face their ghosts, and like sometimes having to hide things that would be easier hiding if you had like 12-hour slot of your day that you would be working and 8 hours of your day that you would be sleeping. So some people are not okay with sexuality, with so much stuff. So if we as comedians can make their day just once, I think our job is done. We only need one laugh at a time. But no, please, you all have to laugh because you all suck if you don't. You're just racist.
I love that. You're taking other people's pain and making laughs. That's what I got from that. I was like, she's like, I'm going to suck up your bad energy, take all your shit, and going to make some fucking great jokes.
Yeah, that's usually what we do.
I love it. I love it.
Manu, thank you for coming to the broadcast. Thank you for being amazing, you guys. And to our audiences, please follow Manu on at hashtag Manu. And it actually, Manu is like it sounds, MANU hashtag. And this is on Instagram, you guys. If you are somebody that's on here and you are on Clubhouse, please follow Manu Maciel.
Yes,
I will follow you tonight.
And so that you can learn more about what's going on at the Laugh Factory comedy workshops, plural, that are happening. And Manu is right there again. I feel like she's a soldier in the army of love. The soldier.
I was a sergeant. Now I'm a soldier. What?
Okay, let's go back.
But
like,
you demoted her.
Right.
I just got demoted.
No, here's
that's what you people do with Brazilians. That is so bad.
Manu,
you got demoted to a
Susie thinks you're great. Okay. So.
Yes, the puppy.
Yes, she got him in the room, so I want to show. All right.
It's so gorgeous, and she's a little black puppy. We love that. In my mind, Manu, like Sade's record, "Soldier of Love," like came closing in because you're literally your remarks. I hate even talking after what you just said because it was so profound. But it just is like, to me, comedy is love. That's what I think. I think that when people are laughing, they're listening. I heard Michael Yo, the comedian, say that. And to me, that's what you're saying. And so my mind then started going, I'm a soldier of love. I don't know if anybody knows the song by Sade, but I love that song. And you are.
Girl, Sade. Yes.
Ooh,
yes.
Right.
Queen taboo.
I'm seeing people from Brazil here speaking Portuguese with the little flag. See what I have to endure?
So,
Not even the same continent.
And thank you, Van Lamartine, for coming onto the broadcast. Yeah. I'm guessing that you guys have not been here with us before. I don't like, so we're great. And Natalie, thanks for Natalie Kim. Thank you for coming on and being with us. You guys, we had a lot of great folks coming here tonight. Thank you, Manu, and thank you, Mistress K, our guest host, for bringing in, for diversifying and continue to expand our crowd. With that, Manu, we know you got to run to Clubhouse and do your, as I say, your thug thizzle. And so I will see you. Hopefully, I'll continue to see you in these streets, especially when the girls get together again. And then I'll definitely see you on Clubhouse. You know how it goes. My best 3 minutes.
And thank you guys. Thank you for having me. Sorry I speak too much. I know.
No, you're good. You're good. Everything was awesome.
Yeah,
thank you.
all say, I know that the moment I disconnect is like, God, she never said that. But thank you for having me. It was really, really an honor, a pleasure. And love you all.
Oh, yes.
Night. I'll be the same.
You're going to solve my life, Queen.
Girl, we're going out for drinks.
Oh,
we're going out.
We're gonna get you drunk, and you're gonna get me married. That's what's gonna happen.
Point them out. I'll reel them in. Let's do it.
Shark and panda bear.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye, Manu.
Is that a thing?
Sorry, guys. I'm such an enabler.
No, that's okay. That was an awesome interview, and that was a lot of fun. And we're going to get into our little segment. It'll be a little bit shorter.
It's a little segment.
We'll do less than what we normally were going to do.
It's a little. There you go, mistress. It's a little segment.
Sorry,
We'd like to share our little segment with you, everyone. We want to share this little segment. Now, we're not going to read this whole thing if you want to. It's on Reader's Digest, but we are going to be reading it in certain voices. Dana, you've been doing voiceover work, and we'd like to hear some from you as well. I will go ahead and start it off with this one that I'm going to look up right now because I should have been more prepared. Anyway.
Okay. So first of all, shout out to Reader's Digest. Come on. clap if you've ever held a Reader's Digest in your hand. If you've ever held one in your hand.
When I did newspaper paper route, all the elderly people used to give me stacks and stacks of them.
Right. All right.
I feel like the Reader's Digest was always like toilet reading, right? It was like always near while you're taking a shit, right?
Yeah, that one writer, you just use their pages in case the toilet paper's out because you don't like their stuff anyway. So
Yeah,
I swear. I swear I'm not dead. In 1708, Gulliver's Travels author Jonathan Swift set up an epic April Fool's prank by pretending to be an astrologer by the name of Isaac Bickerstaff. He published a set of predictions, the most notable of which was a celebrity astrologer at the time, John Partridge, would die at March 29th. On March 30th, Swift circulated the anonymous account of Partridge's death of fever, and on April 1st, someone knocked on Partridge's door to set up the funeral arrangements. Partridge, of course, was alive and well, but for the rest of his life, he would have to insist he was not dead. The prediction finally came true 7 years later, without Partridge ever finding out the real identity of Isaac Bickerstaff. We're here to tell who told the truth. Okay. Anyways, think about this. The guy who wrote Gulliver's Travels made a guy defend that he was still alive for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
from
that's
an April Fool's joke. This is now, if you think about it, it's really weird because that means databases were just as screwed up back then.
Did we have databases back then?
Well,
they had scrolls, girl. They had
scrolls. That's still a database.
Reader's Digest was in print. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, what's next? The Dred Scott? Like, I was at the Supreme Court with, anyway. Sorry. That might be a bit of an American history joke there.
So Dana,
so did this guy get to avoid taxes every year?
You know what? It didn't say.
I know.
Wait. Oh man, he probably got to like avoid so many weird family get-togethers too. No, Nick, yours are always great. I like the Sonora dogs.
I swear I'm not dead.
So now, Dana, I'd like you to read this one because I wonder if you remember this one.
Okay. First of all, nothing says mother of the church like reading glasses. Here I go. Whoppers for Southpaws. And let me just say that this small print is discriminatory. Thank you. I'm just going to be honest with you. On April 1st, 1998.
It took a while to get to the accessible thing.
On April 1st, 1998, Burger King announced it would now offer a version of the Whopper that had been carefully designed for left-handed folks. The joke was on Burger King. However, when stores across the country were flooded with orders for the left, turns out your favorite fast food chains have been. Oh, okay. Sorry. That was the,
Sorry. I forgot to tell everybody. You got to stop on the last sentence because the rest of it's just for a link that you go to and that makes you buy
Stop on the hyperlink. That's funny only because in my mind, I'm just like, it's round. What would make it a left-handed burger over a right-handed burger? Like, who fell for that? That's what I'm trying to understand. Like, who fell for that? For real? In 1998, shoot, I had actually just moved. I've been living here a year.
It's like the same thing with the Twix right and the Twix left.
Now
it's like, well, which way is the label? Because it could be right or left.
It could be right or left. Who fell for that? That's me. That's what I would say. But
what's the next one, Dan?
Oh, you're done with this one? Cool. No. Here we go. Stefan, why don't you read this one and then
sure.
I can't get to the thing, everyone. Look at me. There we go.
A cliffhanger. Okay.
Go for it, Stefan.
Let's see. A cliffhanger. In 2001, a DJ in England decided to prank his listeners on April 1st by broadcasting that a ship that looked suspiciously like the Titanic could be seen from the cliffs at Beachy Head in East Essex, London. Hundreds of listeners believed him, trekking to the cliffs to catch a glimpse. Unfortunately, all the foot traffic caused a large crack in the cliff face. A few days later, it fell into the sea. Hilarious. Now, boy, they were lucky there was nobody else there the day that fell.
I would say no injuries to report, but just a shifting of earth, literally.
Now, Mistress K, Your voiceover talents.
Oh man. I hope it's a good one because these have been kind of lame.
Oh, okay. I see how it is. No,
Are you ready?
Yes.
Take us to your leader. A newspaper in Jordan ran an April 1st, 2010 article claiming a UFO had landed near the town of Jafar. I think that's it.
Yeah.
The mayor of Jafar responded was evacuating 13,000 people. Facing a potential lawsuit, the newspaper apologized publicly, saying, "We meant to entertain, not scare people."
Oh boy, sounds almost like that radio broadcast back in the day of War of the Worlds.
Yes.
Well, like I don't understand why people think like this whole alien thing is like a new thing. You know what I mean? Like are we really thinking that we're the only life force in the entire universe?
It's not there's a small probability we are, but mostly the probability is we are not, like with what the elements are in the universe. One of the funniest things to me is every time we see an unidentified flying object, the people go, oh, aliens. It's like, how about Russians? They build shit too.
How about we just don't know where it came from?
How about Russian aliens?
How about I don't know, the Norwegians? They might be making UFOs. What about the Greenlanders? They could be making them.
How about a piece of a plane that fell off from West Palm Beach? I mean, really.
Right. What about it's just not even conceivable that we are the only ones in the whole galaxy. Like that's just like, to me, that is, whether you have data or not, it is just, the galaxy is huge, and I think it is, what do you say? It is propaganda. It is racist space propaganda that we are the only people in this whole galaxy. Just my thoughts.
Like I would just want to see those people like, come on, Stephanie, I told you they were coming. Get your stuff. Let's go. We're getting out of here. Like, where are you gonna go? Like, they're aliens. They will find you.
Right. If they made it here, wherever you're going, they will make it there. And you guys, obviously, when I say racist, I don't necessarily mean like within culture. I'm just saying that the idea that it's just us seems awfully myopic, in my opinion. Like that is, what is that? Like Earth supremacy? Like we are,
we are the only ones.
Like, did they call Will Smith and let him know that the fat lady didn't sing because there's another one flying up there? Like, what's happening here?
Well, that was my point with the whole thing where we go straight to UFOs, is if other countries can't actually build shit. Like they could have built something we don't know how to build yet. We're not the first to make everything in America. Right. Come on.
Yes, we are. What are you talking about?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. They're listening.
Now, definitely got to share this one. I'll go ahead and read this one better than the other one, which actually Stefan remembers. That one tongue twisted me last time too. So I thought I'd do better. But this one is one of my favorites of all time. Poisoned by DHMO. On April 1st. No, got to do a different voice. What should I do? Mr. K, pick something.
Do a high pitch one. Do a high pitch voice.
Okay. Poisoned by DHMO. On April 1st, 2002, a couple of Kansas City DJs announced that the local water supply had been found to contain high levels of dihydrogen monoxide. Yay! Whose effects included sweating, urination, skin pruning. Hundreds of citizens flooded the water department and the police with distressed phone calls. Oh no! Too bad the hydrogen monoxide is actually H2O, the chemical name for water. Yeah. Stupid assholes. The DJs were widely criticized and accused of terrorism. Terrorism! I couldn't say it the first time with this goddamn voice. By the one government official, in 2013, 2 Florida DJs pulled the same break, resulting in clamor that got the DJs yanked off the air. Newly saddled with felony charges, where they would be put in jail and become someone else's bitch forever and ever.
I don't even know what the last part was.
Oh, that wasn't there? Shit. Okay. I should
Brazilian wax. Yes.
Great job, Dan. Great job.
Yes.
It kind of hurt towards the end. I think I broke on one word. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the tape.
Yes, that's pretty
still an
crazy
amateur.
that people got fooled, and instead of looking it up, they wow.
What year was that?
Well,
2002.
Well, Americans are very smart. What can we say?
What can we say? What can we say?
America.
I'm thinking we're gonna go just a little bit. Wait, I don't know what order we went in originally, but I think that if Dana would like to read this in a voice of Stefan's choosing.
She can read it however she likes.
Oh, you wussed out.
Okay, here's the thing. Let me just say that too much was happening. Like the woman's outfit, the ad over there, I was like, oh my God. Just for the record, like I saw pregnant pause, and then I was like, well, she's not pregnant. What's going on? The picture does not go with the words, Dana. Pregnant. Okay, now what happened?
Oh,
okay,
I did.
This will be our last one.
Okay, pregnant pause. One of my favorite things. For April Fool's Day of 2013, 18-year-old Tori Wheeler of Tulsa, Oklahoma, pranked her boyfriend Derek Bauer by pretending she was pregnant. Wheeler, upset that Bauer didn't find her prank as funny as she'd hoped, ended up pulling a knife on him, and the police ended up having to settle the matter. Predictably, she later said the knife was yet another prank. Don't prank with knives, kids. And if you want to prank your boyfriend, maybe pull something from the list of, something else.
Yeah.
I just think that was like, I don't know, like 18 years old. That is when they say that youth is wasted on the young. This is that moment right there. Like you had all the pranks and you chose that prank. Like, I don't know, Tori Wheeler, bless your heart. That's 20. What is that? Wow, that was 8 years ago. So wonder what you're pranking, what you're doing now, Tori Wheeler. Bless your heart.
I think a lot of guys watching.
She's still in jail for attempted murder.
Attempted murder.
I think a lot of guys have,
yeah. There wasn't enough of a pregnant pause from the boyfriend. So okay.
I think a lot of guys have dated a girl like this, the kind that goes, why are you mad? You're such a pussy. It was just like a little bullet.
A knife.
Just a little bullet, okay?
Right.
I only grazed your baby toe, okay?
Right.
I saw an ad on Craigslist where you could buy positive pee sticks. I was like,
that's scary.
Why is there a market for this? That's terrible.
I misheard you. I thought they were pee positive sticks, like people that like, yay, pee, but you're actually talking about pregnancy tests that.
Yeah.
That's that's mean as fuck, dude. That's so mean.
It's better than a knife, I guess.
Here's what bothers me about that. It didn't tell how he reacted. Like, what did he do that made her go off the deep end and pull a knife?
I don't know. He probably blamed her cheating on him with somebody else. He's like, I knew you were screwing the neighbor. Not my devil scene.
I knew you looked at that pool boy a little differently.
Oh my.
I don't
right.
Like, but
did anybody do any pranks today?
My kid tried to pull one on me, but it's, she's 7 years old, so it's.
I know.
Daddy, what coloring crown am I holding? Is it green or blue?
We're about to get to.
That's red.
Yeah, we're about to get to a guess, but I have to tell you the worst one I ever did to my mom, and I never did another one. Is someone told me about the Saran wrap on the toilet thing, and I did it when I was young, and I can hear it to this day. Fucking kids!
Oh, I'd have made the kids clean it up. That's what I would have done.
We played a prank on my boss one time where we went in and we wrapped everything in their office in like paper, like wrapping paper. We wrapped everything. Oh. And it took us like 4 hours before work, but it was so priceless. It was like worth the 3 minutes that it took that they saw it.
All right, let's bring up our awesome guest.
Yay. So we have this comedian rocks, and like I was having a conversation recently with Paul Moonjean, not recently, but whenever we had it, like actually I think it was when Paul was on here. Yeah. We were laughing at the idea that like in the world of comedy, lawyers tend to want to be comics, and they are we just all think that they are They just happen to be the group with the most disposable income and able to try the most careers of anybody because they can do anything. Because it's always interesting where you find attorneys, but attorneys in the world of comedy are fantastic and we love it. And tonight we welcome someone who like strikes this incredible. If we talk about the scales of justice, whether she's blind or not, the scales are balanced. This is someone who is the legal director for the Innocence Project, the incredible project and the work based out of Seattle, Washington, for dealing with those who've been wrongly convicted, as well as an incredible stand-up comedian, spending time on stages here in Los Angeles and balancing that life, and just has great things on the horizon. Please welcome to the broadcast, Christopher Graves, you guys. Woo-hoo.
Hey, how y'all doing? Hey, how's it going?
How you doing? How you doing?
Good,
Welcome
good. Stefan, Dan, Mistress K, and of course the wonderful Dana. Thank you for having me. I really am excited to be here tonight. And I have to say, you know, Dana, I don't want you to roast me, so I come bearing gifts. And I paid attention earlier tonight, and this is for you. I'm going to open it up just so you can see your viewers.
Okay.
This was done by a friend of mine from 7th grade, and I want you to see that design there.
Wow, that's nice.
And that says, of course, when there were 9, which is what Justice Ginsburg said when someone asked her, when will there be enough women on the Supreme Court? And she said, when there are 9.
Wow.
And I thought it was the greatest answer. And I've also got for you and some of the other hosts, we got some stickers too. So,
nice.
Everyone that loves those, including Mistress K, I come bearing gifts. So hopefully y'all will treat me nice.
Thank you.
It always works. If you ever had, I'm an old lobbyist. If all you need to do is just bribe someone, and maybe they'll treat you nice.
I don't know, Mr. Graves. I think you coming here and going against my run for Supreme Court office was pretty, up there.
The great thing about it is you don't have to have a law degree or be a lawyer to be appointed to the Supreme Court. Most people don't know that. And so crazy. I think it's high time. You want to talk about discrimination? I think it's high time we have a comedian.
That would be awesome.
That would be wonderful. Let's bring some levity to some of these decisions.
Yeah, right? And you'll have a job for life. Which
you get appointed for life. And how weird can you be? How much can you do a set where you don't give a doggone at all if you got a job for life? That's what I think about it.
Yeah. Every morning you're like, I'm just going to my gig.
Now, what I do. So that brings me to a couple of questions about like being on the Supreme Court. That first of all, you've blown my hair back. Like, even when I'll say this, when I was an undergrad and at Xavier University in New Orleans, they have there's these 2 great summer programs for students. One is called SOAR, Stress on Analytical Reasoning. And so all the kids in New Orleans, local to Louisiana, who wanted to are eventually going to attend Xavier for pre-med because it's one of the greatest, factories for turning out Black doctors in America, whether going to African-American medical schools or, PWI medical schools. But Excel, which was the other program, focused on people who were interested in the humanities, interested in law, because Xavier did not have a law school. And one of the things that I learned even back then was that if you wanted to go to medical school or if you wanted to go to law school, you did not have to be a pre-med major. All you had to do was know what are the course requirements to get into law school. And you could be a theater major and go to medical school as long as you completed the course requirements, the coursework, and vice versa the same. So how does the world not know that you don't have to have, what you're saying, you don't have to be a lawyer? Like, what is it to be on the Supreme Court?
You don't have to be a lawyer to be on the Supreme Court. Wow. And when you talk about going to law school, I mean, listen, my brother, I have 2 brothers that are both lawyers, 2 younger brothers. I'm very proud of them. And my brother James was a math major and went to law school. My youngest brother is an entertainment lawyer, but he was a music technology major at Jackson State University, Jeffrey. Nice. And so neither of these guys, took the traditional political science or English route to get to law school. And there have been people on the Supreme Court who were not lawyers. Typically, they may have been senators or they came from some other area of politics. So, I think if we can get, someone on the Supreme Court who has a little comedy in them, has some good jokes. That might be good for us. Just no reality stars. I'm kind of tired of the reality stars. We don't need any more reality stars. So
we're all starring in reality, and sometimes the show sucks.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because I also learned, there's the popular judge show, Judge Maybelline.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I learned that Judge Maybelline is not a judge. I didn't know, and Judge Maybelline, for that matter, may not be a lawyer, but what I found out for sure at that time, because I was working for an agent, I found out quickly that she's not a judge, and that the folks on these judge shows are not judges. I feel like there's
my friend told me that, and I was like, you mean the people on Judge Judy aren't real? I was like crushed.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I wish it sort of worked like that, where you could just go on television and you didn't really have to be the thing, but everyone sort of treated you like that. You know what I mean?
Dr. Phil.
I'd go on TV and just pretend like, I was rich, That'd be great. My dad used to tell me, he said, if you act like you got $1 million and you walk like you got $1 million, some people will actually believe you have $1 million. That doesn't work for me though. But something you were saying, Dana, that I'll push back a little bit. You said that lawyers, what was it? I think you said,
you guys, to me, y'all are like I don't know, how did I say it? I was just trying to say that I feel like lawyers are the ones who show up in all the other fields wanting to do other things. And we'd have to look back at the recording. The way that I said it, I can't repeat. And I say that just not because of comedy, but I've also come from education. All the lawyers want to be I've never seen a field where people put in so much time to be that thing and then want to jump ship to these other things.
Yeah, because most people don't really enjoy practicing law. I do. I think it's a great profession. It's really labor intensive. And then, it's really hard to make money as a solo practice or individual lawyer. I think most people think lawyers make a lot of money. And I think by ABA statistics, the average lawyer makes $65,000.
Gosh.
Well, it's like between 56 and 65. Not that that's a bad salary. But there are people that think, if you're a lawyer, you make six figures. And the problem with this is, when you're in solo practice like I was, people don't want to pay their lawyers. Now, I don't want to say it like woe is the lawyers or whatever, but you're not gonna skip out on paying your doctor, right?
Right.
You're not gonna skip out on paying your insurance. But people with their lawyers, they're kind of like, whatever. You got the money.
Didn't Trump do that to Giuliani?
Hey,
Trump's not paying Giuliani. If anyone's
there you go. Another example of slipping the lawyer.
Yeah.
The best example I can give you of this though is, and this is, I can't make this up. I did criminal defense work back in Mississippi, and I had a client. She came to me, and she was charged with credit card fraud. And we sat down and we talked about a case, and she said, "Well, Ms. Grace, how much you charge?" And I told her, and she said, "Well, you take credit cards, don't you?"
Why is somebody laughing at that? That is hilarious.
I'm dumbfounded, but yes, these things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I had a client, and it's funny because I'm the one person that you can't lie to, right? As a criminal defense lawyer, that you don't have to, right? But clients, sometimes I think they, that maybe they just have a hard time kind of coming out with the facts. I had a client one time, he got busted with a whole bunch of weed, a bunch of marijuana back, when it was, less legal. And I think he tried to convince me it was rabbit food. And I'm thinking, yeah, sure. That's why you have those 25s on your truck, because you've been breeding rabbits, right? That's how you get them. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
Well, you can sell a lot of them.
The rabbits keep breeding and the wheels keep spinning. I don't know. I don't know.
Some hungry rabbits.
Maybe.
That's funny. Now, I know we want to definitely get to how you started in comedy, but interestingly enough, I was on a Zoom with my comedy buddy earlier today. And you just brought up a ton of stuff, and we were actually talking about the Dred Scott decision, and we were talking about who I guess was Chief Justice Roger B. Taney at that time. And we were just talking about just all of that in general. And I don't know, you just it's just funny because we were having this conversation today about these, he wrote this, they did not what Dred Scott did not win his case, but then Roger B. Taney took it to this other level and wrote this, crazy but now very famous position, about the black man never having rights that a white man would ever respect.
Never will, in that opinion.
Yeah, and never will. He was, trying to speak for eternity on it. But like what is a day in the life, whatever Christopher, I'm about to call you Charles, please forgive me.
Right.
What is a day in the life of a justice on a Supreme Court or on a bench? Like I guess that's very different. So let's go back. Like what do you know about the day in life of a justice on the Supreme Court? Like when they wake up and go to work at 9, do they go to work at 9? Like how does that work?
I don't know about the Supreme Court. I've been blessed to know quite a few judges at the state and at the federal level. And I know that much of the work is reviewing not only the briefs of opposing counsel, but there's also a lot of legal research involved. And you've got, some clerks to help you with that. But there's a lot of reading to the job. Because, the thing that you have to do as the court and was impressed upon me when I clerked for a federal judge is you've got to get it right. It's got to be, pretty much perfect because the court sets the standard. And if the court doesn't do the research right, or if the court's, brief or research or opinion is sloppy, then what kind of standard are you holding the lawyers to? So there's a lot of research, there's a lot of writing. I think there's a big focus on getting the right decision. And that's what I think a lot of the job is, it's not outside of the administrative stuff. Trial judges, I think, may have it a different way. Obviously trial judges are, when the case is being tried, to a jury or to a bench, if it's a bench trial, there still is a lot of reading, I think, of briefs and motions or requests by the parties to make a decision. But when judges try a case, they have to make a decision on the spot about the evidence and what's coming in and what's staying out. And I'll go back briefly to what you said about the Dred Scott decision. What is interesting about that decision, and I think what was so probably striking to me when I was in law school and read it, is that when you think about the history of this country, and that the first person to die for this country in the Revolutionary War, the Boston Tea Party, the Boston Massacre, first person to die for this country, which, the events that led to the Revolutionary War, was Crispus Attucks, Native American and African-American man. And it's interesting to me that, African-Americans have, along with, other, ethnicities in this country, have been involved in the struggle for the freedom of this country and its democracy since the very beginning. And when you think about that, I think that's the thing that, really underscores just the terrible atrocity of the Dred Scott decision is right. Because, Justice Taney is talking about how, African-American men can never be citizens, yet, African-American men and women have, contributed to this country since before it was founded. And to me, I think the most American thing that you can have is the immigrant or Native American experience, because all of us come to this country a different way. So, to me, I had a friend of mine the other day, she said, well, you don't really eat any American food. You eat all this ethnic food. And I'm thinking, well, ethnic food is American. That's what it is. We all come from a different place. Yeah. So, and I digressed a little bit with that, but, you talked about Dred Scott, so I had to say something about it. So,
it's a very passionate place, and we're in the springtime. We're in April. So this would represent, if it's 2007 was 150 years from the decision. It's now been 14. So we're talking about 64 years on the decision. So, or something, my math just went really bad. 164 years. So next year will be 165 years on the decision. We have to have a whole nother podcast about it, because we had some very, very, just me and my comedy buddy, so that we can get back to comedy. Me and my comedy buddy ended up having these conversations today, because we were talking about diversity and race in America. And she just talked about, as I talked about, the disparities and the inequities and the inequalities, and talked about the 13th, she was unaware of the 13th Amendment. She was unaware of different things. She was unaware, because I was explaining to her that in other parts of the world, understand that 14 million Africans were taken from the continent in slavery. America only got 3 to 4 million. The bulk went to Brazil and throughout the Caribbean. But in this country, we've done this country and systemic racism and systemic what I'm going to call perception has been built because once slaves were freed, then our freedom was criminalized. It was criminalized to not have a job, but if you're not going to hire someone, then they won't have a job. So then vagrancy, being a vagabond, not having a job, not whatever, all of that gets criminalized instantly when you become free, and then no one will hire you. So there's no wall. And I was just explaining to her, like, for example, in South America, freedom came in 1810, but then that was it. There was no 13th Amendment, no black codes, no Jim Crow, no segregation, no none of that, no decade after decade after decade of continued oppression upon people who had then been freed from the institution. So that was kind of how the Roger B. Taney conversation came up, because we were talking
because of segregation. It was because of segregation. Like, the reason why racism has occurred in this country is because we have segregated each other from certain groups. Whereas you're looking at South America, there is no segregation.
Right. But to that point, Mistress K, but after the slaves were freed, there was nothing. In this country, segregation is the third tier. You had black codes, Jim Crow, and then segregation. So you had already built, so many systems had been built even before segregation came along to create a systemic perception or that leads to a systemic perception of people of color, particularly black people. But again, like you said, in South America, all these other places where more slaves actually were taken than in this country, people once freed were free to be whatever they wanted to do. I would never say that, there may not be some colorism issues, because we've heard quite the contrary, but it's different, as you know, Mistress K, and all of us, when all of the systems have a way to be continually stacked against a certain group, and that every time a system is created, then another system gets created. And so I'll end it here, because what was interesting about it, two things. People always say slavery was a long time ago, and it was, but black codes, Jim Crow, segregation, all of the things that continued it were not, first. And then second, because she said, well, but I am, I'm not a rich white person. We're not. I said, I understand that, and you are correct. I said, but the problem is there is not a legacy of criminalization of white poverty in this country. There has always been, from freeing the slaves, a criminalization of the very existence of black people in some form. And so that's why you have these systemic perceptions that exist, and then you give people nowhere to turn, and then when people make these other choices, then you're mad about those choices, but they've another show. Let's talk about comedy.
Yes.
No. I think you're right.
Another show.
The thing I want to say, when people say slavery was a long time ago,
wasn't.
It wasn't
not that long ago.
It was certainly wasn't that long ago.
It's still happening today. I mean, look at the kids that are in Mexico.
Right.
I think we started doing modern science before it was ended. It's not that long ago.
Yeah, not that long ago. And
the modern scientific method.
And to be candid, I think that there's a book that I want to read more. I haven't had time, but nowadays I pick up a book and just kind of put it on the shelf and stare at it, and I feel good about getting it. And I wish I could read it. Right? There's a book called Caste.
Oh my gosh!
Right, and that book, talks about the kind of the separation of resources and what human beings do to each other to separate resources. I mean, you want to talk about slavery not being that long ago. Neither was the Chinese Exclusion Act. And you look at the modern day sort of events that are occurring, in the Asian and Pacific Islander community, that harkens back to that. The things that African Americans experienced, Voting Rights Act, Georgia, it wasn't that long ago, back in, 19, before 65 or what have you, that, people were paying poll taxes. And so I think that people forget sometimes, maybe it's a generational thing, or maybe it's because, things are perceived many times as being, easier. But people forget that, women got the right to vote like back in the 20s, and even for African American women later. And that wasn't that long ago. And, we look at the way that we hold, female politicians to an entirely different standard that we do men. So, I said all that to say there's a long list of things that we do, unfortunately, in this country systemically racism included, sexism included, all kinds of isms, unfortunately, to separate the resources of people that have those from the people that don't have those, or that you do not want to have those.
And
that's unfortunate. And I hope we do something to overturn that. So
step by step. How did you get into comedy? Because like here's because they know everybody knows me. If you've known me even beyond this, then that's the shit I could talk about all motherfucking day. All motherfucking day.
I can talk about comedy all day. My cousin Pamela Williams asked a question.
Well, no, I'm talking about the other shit, the shit that we were just talking about. But yes, I could also talk about comedy all day. So, but I'm just saying the other stuff, I will crawl into holes upon holes talking about, systemic inequities, all these other things. But tell us about
it needs to be discussed. I don't think they can talk about it enough. Unfortunately, sometimes it's kind of a downer. But
right. So when did you start making people laugh?
I'm sorry, go ahead, Dana.
When did you start making people laugh?
I started making people laugh. Probably when I was
when they were in handcuffs.
Well, yeah, when they were handcuffs. Probably I started when I was 6 years old. And my cousin Pamela, who asked that question, actually will tell this story the best. My grandmother I asked my grandmother for some money for ice cream or something, and she wouldn't give it to me. So I went in her purse and I took the money out and I shoved it like in her shoes, and she couldn't find it. The whooping I received that day was epic. But then there's something else I did where I switched the sugar and the salt containers. And I'm sure you all can appreciate this. For Thanksgiving, we made sweet potato pie. And my family's cut up sweet potato pie. This is a big deal. And they take a piece and put it in her mouth. And she's like, this tastes kind of bad. And everyone knows I'm just bad. So they figured out that I switched the salt and the sugar. That whooping was epic. And so, I came to comedy through a lot of pain, I would say, probably very early on.
Yes.
Me and comedy have a complicated relationship. But after I finished my federal clerkship, I moved to Los Angeles, and, I really love acting. And so my first love was acting, and, doing auditions is great, but you don't get a lot of time on stage. And I always loved doing comedy. I listened to Richard Pryor on cassette when I was way too young to be listening to that. I listened to Eddie Murphy Delirious, on cassette when I was way too young to be listening to that. It was my uncle's old cassettes. And so when I moved to Los Angeles in 2012, I just thought I'd try it, just because I wanted to get on stage. And I ended up falling in love with it, all over again. And I love comedy. And, it's funny because I realized that I had been inserting comedy in my law practice all along, coming up in front of juries, or, coming up in cases, using comedy as a way to connect to a jury or to connect to a judge. And so for me, it was just very natural to sort of stand up in front of a crowd and tell jokes without the fear of being sanctioned or fined. And, it was great.
So what I got from that is that you're a masochist, because you went go from a job that just like beats you up, and then you do another job at night, which beats you up again.
Yeah. I can't get enough. And
what's your safe word?
Yeah,
yes, what's your safe word?
Morehouse.
Morehouse is a safe word.
Pineapple.
Pineapple. You said pineapple.
Oh, God, pineapple. Everybody picks a fruit.
Just not on pizza, please.
When I hear that, I want to eat.
Oh, my favorite safe word, and I know I'm taking this from some other comedian, but I know someone else did this joke, was my favorite safe word is boring.
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know if you want to use that one though. That might get you. That might
get an extra beating on that one.
Yeah, that gets you a little more trouble. You know what I mean? I don't know. You're getting, you can pop pretty hard with that paddle, and you're like, boring. I can't move.
Get one of those.
That's like when I was a kid and I got whooped with an extension cord. I don't think I could ever say that. My mom, this is gonna hurt me more than it hurts you. Boring. I mean, I wouldn't be alive today. I just wouldn't be alive.
His leg fell off. What happened?
Yeah, he can't talk. He's moving funny. What happened? Oh, he told his mama that his whooping was boring.
You know, one of the
Chris.
favorite things I ever heard of a mom saying was a kid told my wife's aunt that I'm going to call social services on you, and her aunt said, "Fine, if you do that, I'll hit you until they get here."
Yeah. My mom, I tried that with my mom one time. I said, you know, I'm going to call social services. And I think I picked up the phone to call social services. And my mom said, yeah, you can do that. But when they get over here, I'm going to whoop them and you. And
Oh, there you go. There
well,
you
you
go.
know, she's kind of crazy. So I don't think I'm going to fool with her. Yeah. But, you know, it's funny. I have a 6-year-old and a 1-year-old, and they just get away with so much. You know, they get away with so much. You know, and of course, I don't want to whoop them, and I wouldn't whoop them, but you know, they kind of know that, I think, and so they try me. You know what I mean?
Test your patience.
Yeah, they test me. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey man, you know, we got to take off the clothes and go to bed. No, we don't. I'm like, okay, all right. You know, I go downstairs. My son's watching TV. You know, I get in front of the television, pass by. He's like, "Daddy, move out the way." You move, Daddy. I'm like,
You're
dude,
blocking.
you start paying the house note. You know what I mean? Daddy, can you leave my room? I'm like, hey, son, you know, these are the bills to the house. Your name is on none of them.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
But he's just cute enough to, you know, get away with it. I remember when I was trying to get him potty trained when he was about 3 years old. And you know, he comes to me and you know, he's trying to get potty trained. And I say to him, I say, whoop, we're outside in the backyard. I say, whoop, Gabe, I feel it in my body. I gotta go to the potty. He looks at me. I go to the potty. I come back and he's like, Daddy. I said, yes, son. Did you go to the potty? I said, yeah, I go to the potty. Did you go poo-poo in the potty? I said, yes, son, that's what big boys do. I went poo-poo in the potty. Why? I said, well, son, you go poo-poo in the potty. I felt it in my body. And I swear my son gives me the sweetest look he's ever given me and says, I'm so proud of you, Daddy. Thanks.
Your kid's going to be a master manipulator.
Now, if I could just get you to wipe your butt,
ooh,
that would be great.
Yes.
You know, 6-year-olds, they don't even try. They don't even attempt it. You know what I mean?
Like, what's that in your underwear?
You butt at all? No. You're not even gonna try.
Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Because like I'm going through that now, and I am not a parent. I am a parent 2 days of the week. And the laundry, I'm just like, okay, those are throwaway panties. Like these are not coming back to you.
No, yeah, kids get lazy. They get lazy. They're like, if you don't wipe it, they're like, eh.
Well, they also go through, you know, changes where there's more sweat and things happen too. So you got to kind of, you know, that could happen too.
Well, you know, I've called myself being, you know,
I'm sorry. Wait. I'm sorry. Hold on. Like, what do we mean by sweat and those things? I don't even I have a son, and we certainly went through some work to get, and it's tough because let me just say this: as a single mother trying to raise a boy and trying to get him to do, and we're not talking. I wish we were talking about the potty training years. I'm talking about bigger than that because
right. It's the greasy period. It's when they're not learning that their body has changed, and if you don't do a little bit more, well. But a certain part of puberty, like the greasy period, it's this little period, and like that's when your body has changed to where you need to worry about ass sweat suddenly in a way you didn't have to before.
Well, yeah, if you go through puberty as a man, yeah.
Wait. So
by the way, this Nick guy is giving me life. Nick Crackthrough, you are giving me life, sir. Like I am dying at his comments.
Yep, he always has great ones.
All right, and that's funny. Okay, so
nice.
Okay, all right. And I promise I'll leave it here. And Chris, because we want to interview, we want to hear what you have to say. My son is now past puberty. This is just I didn't know that's what we were dealing with. So there's a greasy period. Like this is something I didn't know. Maybe I didn't even know to Google this. Like I didn't know that's. I thought one of the troubles that we certainly had was he became, and this is something I did by accident. He became intolerant to dairy earlier, probably than he would have, because I thought. I already thought he was intolerant, so I had already changed him over to like rice milk and things in this house. But of course, at school they're only giving out dairy, and I'm trying to say to him, "Don't drink it." But then I'm not necessarily sending what he needs. So then he's drinking it, and then obviously we come home and then there's a problem. But what I'm trying to then fathom in my mind is this greasy period, because I just had no idea. I just feel like, you know what? Let me do this. That's another show. That is another show. Let us return.
You learn to live with it. You
John
learn to deal with
Travolta,
it. It's part
Olivia
of growing up.
Newton-John, Grease.
All right,
Look.
I'm sorry. I do have a remedy. What I say now, and it's just something, Chris, I've been working with in sets, because I truly believe this. I believe it is the 21st century. I believe that toilet tissue is a wipe without moisture. And I believe that we are past the stage of really believing that a wipe with no moisture is doing jobs 1 and jobs 2 in the bathroom. Babies are not the only one who need wet wipes. This is about butts, bidets, and booty wipes. And as far as I'm concerned, toilet tissue is a relic. It is a thing that we should make in the past.
And when I'm president of the United States, everyone will have a wet wipe and a bidet. A bidet for everyone. Every man is
for all.
And if you're really into it, a spinning brush.
Oh, hey, you got my vote.
There you go. But it's funny, speaking of the bidet and trying to get my kid, to take care of this thing, as you said, Dana, I call myself installing the bidet and thinking, okay, great. The kid will get on it. It'll be wonderful. He'll get cleaned up. We don't even have to worry about the wipes anymore. Except when I come in there and he's got the bidet going and he's got like a cup of water and he's like, look, daddy. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. It's not working out the way I thought it would. Isn't it cool, daddy? I'm like, yeah. That's not how it works though. If you could just like sit on it and pee, that'd be wonderful. But kids are gonna make anything a toy. So, I'm glad, he just did that with the bidet. It's all kinds of stuff around the house they turn into toys. It's funny, you buy a kid, all these expensive toys, and then they go in there and pull out your pots and pans and tear that up for 20 minutes. I'm thinking, what, next Christmas, screw buying all these expensive toys. I'm just going to get an empty cardboard box and wrap that and be like, here you go. Merry Christmas. All right. I got plenty of these. You can have all these you want.
Right. Pamela just said flushable wipes at Walmart. Pamela, I absolutely agree. I said, because we keep flushable wipes in the house. But I just think these Charmin commercials are just a lie. Like I think all of that, like that. Have y'all seen that animated commercial?
Well, yeah, bears don't use toilet paper. I've watched them for hours. They just poop and walk. They sniff it real quick, then they walk away. I've never seen a bear that I've been watching like a psycho for days use toilet paper.
And I'm just saying, I think that they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes. I also think that your son, or the tissue over our eyes.
That should have been sheep. They should have had sheep. They're trying to put the wool over our eyes. Right?
Look, this is the richest country in the world. We can install bidets for bears. I know we can.
Yeah, I'm with you. You got my vote.
We can get it done, people.
You got my vote.
That's a good slogan, by the way, for a movement.
Bidets for bears, right?
Yeah, a movement for bears we can get behind.
Yeah, you can get them on Amazon though, and put them on your toilet.
You can get bears on Amazon and put them on your toilet. Wait a minute, hold up, wait.
Yeah,
you said bears, bidets,
not bears.
No, I know. I think, and I know Chris was just trying to play. I think we need to just go ahead and make that happen. Now that I think about it, I think we should just, because I know I've been to my good girlfriends, and they, during the pandemic when everybody couldn't get toilet tissue, people started buying, like, you could attach this attachment, and you could do your thing. So
yeah, we just had a shop vac with a bunch of dryer sheets.
Nice. Wonderful.
Well, we were rationing squares at our house. I was like, was that a 2 square or that was a 3 square? Because we can't afford more than 2 squares.
Yeah, you gotta, don't get greedy. Don't get greedy.
No, that's where my dad he had like a little speech with us. I don't remember at what age, but he's like, "Do you understand what the fold is?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Because you're using too much toilet paper. You have to fold."
Did y'all see on Netflix they had like 100 people? They had this show called 100 People.
Oh yeah.
There was actually some comedians that were in amongst those 100 people, because I was like, "Hey girl, I see you." But they did these surveys, and one of the surveys they did was how people like use toilet paper when they were on the toilet. Like, and then if they put the roll on like facing outward or facing inward. So it was like a whole thing. And the majority of like everybody had their own way, like the fold, or people just like crumbled it up. And then, like, and then they were like, do you wipe front to back or back to front? And it was just like, it was so funny. So funny because everybody does it differently. Like there's no universal way to like take a shit.
Dana looks sick. Dana looks sick.
No, I did that because I was just kind of like, it doesn't even get that detailed for me, although I know it is. And then I actually honestly had a moment of embarrassment because in my apartment, like we don't have like the thing in the wall. Like I'm trying to remember why we don't have it.
Oh, to hold the toilet paper or whatever?
Yeah, like I'm like, did we once have it and we broke it, or did they paint the walls and not put it back? But I'm embarrassed. So the face you saw, you caught me being embarrassed, like in my head, like we don't have it because I don't have a relationship to either direction. Our toilet tissue honestly just sits like on the edge of the tub. Like, and we just pick it up, and do the thing. And I also keep quite a few varieties of wipes in the bathroom. And unfortunately, shamefully, I have to admit, and I have been fussed at by 2 landlords, we don't keep flushable wipes just because honestly, again,
they don't really break down.
They don't, but they are the ones that will break down compared to regular wipes. My issue is I need a cloth. And flushable wipes, I don't know whoever's brilliant idea it was to make them, because I do believe that it was brilliant. They make them like the size of index cards, even when you unfold them.
So you buy more.
Right, because then I need like, it's going to be probably too much information. Gut health, can we talk about it? I need like more, area across whatever. Look,
Dana, this is a safe space. It's all good.
Yeah,
that's right. So, this is a safe space. Yes,
safe space. So I just
not as safe as the bathroom.
Draw us a diagram.
Say that again.
I said next time you should draw us a diagram.
I should, because but you guys, everybody on here we talked about it. Everybody on here has children and has dealt with regular wipes. So the size difference between if you buy the Huggies wipes for your kid compared to those flushable adult wipes. We know the difference in size. And as far as I'm concerned, those flushable wipes have nothing on regular size baby wipes, and I will not waste money. And what happens is we buy toilet tissue, and I confessed this recently to a friend, and she was like, do you do that? Like, I also keep near my toilet, I keep peroxide and witch hazel. I dampen my tissue. Like if we're, because I do have some complexes about like I don't
want my bathroom is for.
Say that again.
That's what the witch hazel in my bathroom is for. I gotta talk to somebody.
Probably not in your bathroom. Like just like you and the naked puzzle pieces and the naked puzzle.
What did you think it was for? Spells?
No, I don't ask her what she does in there. She just does.
Well, she's probably
women don't poop to us. I tell you,
she's toning her beautiful skin. In my house, I'm toning skin from the top to the bottom. Like I'm gonna use whatever I can to make sure it's all clean. To moisturize and to clean and
no
to
one likes a rough hole. You know what I mean?
Right. I've seen that stuff when it spills. That sounds like it goes through a greasy period too. That's interesting.
Say that one more time.
Well, when the witch hazel spills, when you knock it over the bathroom, like I've felt that stuff. Like that sounds like its own greasy period right there.
It's not, but witch hazel is not greasy. Witch hazel is basically an alcohol knockoff that doesn't burn.
Oh,
that's what witch hazel is.
Well, when your floor is covered in crap and you waste the witch hazel, then it's gonna be greasy, right?
Right. Like like if you're dealing, but like otherwise, I have alternative remedies to deal with the fact that adult flushable wipes are not big enough. That if you put too many of the regular wipes in a toilet, if you care about the piping in your building, whether you own it or not, then there could be a potential problem. So I'm just trying to find the right space, because what I know is that dry ass tissue does not do the job.
Okay, Dana, listen, I really care about you. You're a friend of mine. And what I have to say to you is right now, I'm really worried about you, because if you disappear tomorrow, I am certain that the toilet tissue industry has moved to eliminate you. The toilet tissue lobby, they're just about, you know what? This black girl is way too loud.
Yeah, the Charmin people will come after you. They'll send out the bears.
It's a wrap. You're done. You're done. And I want you to be okay. You know what I mean? So let's just say allegedly toilet tissue is too.
I love it. Such a lawyer. Change the wording. So Chris, while you were saying that, I was thinking the opposite. I was like, how much are they paying, like wet wipes people paying her to say this? I was like, is this show sponsored by them?
You know what? Hey, there's an
Get a
opportunity
gig
there.
doing wet wipes, girl.
There's an opportunity there.
I really do not want to see the Charmin wet commercial. I imagine it has seals or something.
Right. Oh, I see. But that's, let us reason together, Charmin. Let us reason together. That would be, if they came to my door.
They have their wet wipes. They do.
Like do they have wet wipes, Charmin? Do they? Okay, well then.
Yes. Yes, they do.
I'm sure they
It
all.
better
Most
be in
of
a
them
different
do. Most of them do.
package. If it's in the same package as normal
Listen.
toilet paper, you just break it and there's water. Ah, crap.
Before I went to nursing school, right? I worked in this clinic in Africa, in Kenya, right? And we packed up a whole bunch of supplies before we went there. And I lived there for 4 months. And literally, I lived off of baby wipes. Like, lived off of them. I had a whole suitcase of baby wipes, right? I like everything. Like, I was just like showering with baby wipes. The people at the clinic, they're like, what is this? And I was like, it's a baby wipe. They had never seen it before in their life. And I left a whole bunch of baby wipes over there. And they were like, this is amazing. Like, they were just like enamored by baby wipes. And I'm like, I'm so like throwing these in a hole in Africa, just covering them up. Like, I'm like destroying the earth here with my baby wipes. They're like fucking American, like.
Okay, now and look, and listen, I care about you. There you go.
Trader Joe's. These are the cucumber and citrus face and body wipes, and so these are like
biodegradable. Are they biodegradable?
They're not. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm going to leave you alone because you were saying
citrus face?
No, it's okay. I just don't want the environmentalists to cancel Mistress K, and that's what's on this way.
Oh, for bearing wipes in Kenya. For bearing wipes in Kenya.
Yeah, they're on their way.
They're not worried about that. They're worried about the plastic that arrived last week.
Yeah, plastic in the ocean. Yeah, geez, that's horrible.
China said no. I guess we have this now.
Chris, how's the comedy scene in Seattle? Is it getting, because I went to Seattle when things were still popping, back in the good old days, 2019. And there wasn't too many comedy spots, like there was like a couple in like these like weird Chinese restaurants and.
Yeah, you're talking about Jai Tai. They do kind of open mic kind of thing, and I've done comedy in some of the most like you said off spots in Seattle, and it kind of ranges. I mean, we used to have Parlor Live, which was a really nice club, and then I've done comedy in hole in the wall dive bars in Seattle, where you're basically standing on top of a pool table like, hey, can I make you laugh? What do you think? You know what I mean? It's just, so it ranges all kinds of ways. I would say this, I've got a good friend, Chris Zapata, who's hosting over at Nate Jackson's comedy club, and Nate Jackson has opened a comedy club in Tacoma. And I really think that that's going to be a great spot for comedy. And obviously, Nate Jackson, African-American person who's given, I think, opportunity to a number of comics from different backgrounds in that club. So, ironically, I think that the comedy scene is probably going to grow more out of Tacoma, than maybe Seattle. Seattle has a couple of good places to go. But yeah, it's kind of hit or miss with comedy in Seattle. As far as, being successful, I think, all the comics I've talked to have told me that the road to success kind of goes through Portland. And so, Portland has a more developed comedy scene, but, I think Tacoma and, Nate Jackson's on the rise, Chris Zapata's doing his thing. So I think we're going to see an improvement.
So is it different? Cause like LA people are so like PC culture out here. Is it different? Like, I feel like Seattle is a really liberal place where like, it's kind of hit or miss, like some of the jokes.
Yeah, I feel, okay. So honestly, I think you have to do comedy sort of for where you are. Right.
Yeah.
I used to tell this joke, when I was in LA. I said, when I first moved to LA, I went to this bar and I, ran into this woman, nice looking woman, blue eyes, blonde hair, and she's the bartender. And, I'm sitting there talking to her and having a couple of drinks. And finally I get to know her and she says, I'm African-American. She's trying to connect me. And she says, well, I'm a lesbian and I voted twice for Obama. And I said, well, I'm from Mississippi, and I heard about people like you, but I never thought I'd see one up close. And she says, what, a lesbian? I'm like, no, a white Democrat. See, that joke plays differently in Tennessee. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you have to kind of do comedy for where you're from. Seattle, I think I think people in Seattle are concerned about making sure that you aren't saying anything that, is too against marginalized people. But at the same time, I think if it's good comedy and it sort of pokes fun at, the idea of, all these separations between folks, then it's considered very positive. Good example of that is Joe Coy, right? I mean, Joe Coy's from Tacoma. He certainly works blue. And I think he makes fun of a lot of different people. I mean, he's made some jokes about African-American folks, and he's made some jokes about, Asian Pacific Islanders. But I think the way it's done is respectful and all in fun. I think there's a way, and I think this in general, I think there's a way you can joke about those sort of things that's respectful and all in fun. Right. So, yeah, I mean, I tell this joke every now and then, about, the separations between people and, how ridiculous and crazy it is. But, Joy Coy, when he jokes about, his mom, he makes sure to let you know she was a nurse.
Joseph.
Yeah, but she was a nurse, right? And then he jokes about the whole thing about Filipinos being nurses. I think there's a way you can do it where you can poke fun at stuff.
Yes.
But at the same time, don't do it in a way that demeans people. You may, talk about stereotypes. I did a show one time in Seattle, and I was joking there. I said, it just so happens that, my wife is Asian, and I would, tell some jokes about Asians, but I don't want that to get out because eventually I got to go to the doctor. So, I think you just do it in a way that's very respectful. That's just my opinion.
See, I love it when comedians like Joe Coy talk about like different cultures, because like his Tupperware joke, how like everything came in like a container that wasn't like what it originally was, like going to school with like a Cool Whip thing. Like that was me growing up as a kid. Like I had stuff in like butter tubs, like, you know what I mean?
Listen,
I know that. Yeah, country crock.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying that I had my mom put my food in a country crock, little butter. I mean, what's that? You got
sometimes my mom just packed the country crock.
Yeah, just bit
like sometimes it was just a country crock. I just eat that with a spoon.
Yeah, I had that thing. That was my wallet till I was like 7. What are you talking about? But the funny thing is that one of the reasons I do comedy, honestly, is because I want people to realize that we have more in common than we do different. There are all these differences that people want to pick on, but we really do have more in common than we do different. You're talking about how you had the country crock and then there's the other container, and certainly African-American people use that. But I think all people who come from a background like that, you got to be resourceful. You got to be really smart, to be impoverished and downtrodden in this country to be able to survive. And like I said, folks got more in common than they do different. I remember, working at, I worked at a legal aid agency in Everett, Washington. And the paralegal who I shared space with in the office, she happened to be white. And, she was, joking about how, one of her older uncles, he was really into Crown Royal, and he is, taking the bags of Crown Royal and used it as a wallet. And he sold like a, Crown Royal, coat or whatever, a scarf. And I was like, Crown Royal. I said, wait a minute. Hold on. Is your uncle black? She's like, no.
Right.
I'm like, what do you mean? Like that can't be right. She's like, yeah, all my family, they're from the mountains. They drink Crown Royal. And I'm like, okay, really? Like, I didn't know white people drank Crown Royal. And then I moved here to Seattle, and like white people, it's almost reversed. You know what I mean? Like, you'll meet some, like I know a dude, he's white. He works at the library at North Seattle. His name is Leroy, and he drinks Crown Royal. I'm like, okay, you're messing me up. This is a lot. This is a lot.
Yeah, everybody has a lot in common. There are so many more people other than just me that engage in naked floor puzzle time. And
back to naked floor. Is that what this called us all back to?
I think it's what we're calling the episode now. All right.
Yeah, naked floor puzzle time. You know, they have that. Like I said, people have more in common with it, and then they do different. They have that, or you know, in other places, it's called sex clubs. But you might also
There's no sex involved. It's a nice puzzle. It's Disney.
Disney.
That just made it more
shit,
weird.
there might be sex involved. Never mind.
my man.
That made it more weird. It's Disney.
Yeah.
That's what I'll do all day.
Can you imagine that, like viewing the Mandalorian R-rated? Like, ooh, X-rated.
What is this?
You know, that makes all the lines in the Mandalorian stand out a little different. I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you cold. Ooh. Right? Kind of adds a different spin to it, right?
Yes.
Oh man, now I gotta watch that show with the
Yeah, you know what? Watch every
with the tub of
episode of The
butter.
Mandalorian and picture it with everyone naked, right?
Oh, that'd be
Instead in a
crazy.
sex club. All the lines will hit you differently. You know what I mean? It'll be just great.
Oh man, imagining that is how I used to get through sermons.
Oh my. Oh my.
Wow.
This is like, so we have to definitely have like part 2, part 3. You know, I like, this has been amazing, Chris. I'm so glad to have had you on. I don't know, just this is a lot of fun, and I can't like, so you guys, we're definitely looking forward to the clubhouse / therapy of the absurd / all Zoom like meetup when we come out of this, because Chris will be coming to LA. Mistress K and I have met. Stefan and Dan, and then Manu and I have met. Like, it's crazy that I've met Manu and Mistress K before I've met you, Stefan and Dan. Like, that's crazy, right? Like, we've been doing this show together for 8 months, and I've met, you know, these amazing folks. And so it's the same, Christopher. When you make your way to LA, like, we just have to have the meetup. We just have to, you know, have the meetup, and prayerfully the meetups will all be at comedy clubs. We'll be at the Laugh Factory. We'll be at the Improv, or where Chateau Comedy Chateau, because that's probably the first place I'm trying to go to, because that seems to be the new hot spot. But this has been amazing, and I'm still, you know, like, I feel like as usual these conversations always feel unfinished because I'm still trying to like crack the nut on, like, we want to talk further about why lawyers become lawyers to not be oh, there it is. Not why do you become lawyers? Why do you earn a JD and then you take that as your passport to something else? Your passport to, you know, an S&M, you know, like a passport to being a teacher, a passport to being all these other things. And that's what we'll call a passport. So we really, really want to have you back so that we can just talk further about any of this.
No, I'd love to do it. I'd love to do it. I appreciate being here. Unfortunately, you know, people don't let lawyers do everything. I applied for a job at the library one time, and they were just like, no, you need a library degree. I'm like, but I have a JD. No, not gonna work. Okay, cool. Sorry. I'll go back. I should have studied the Dewey Decimal System harder. My bad. But
Right.
you know, it is what it is. But no, thank y'all so much. I really have enjoyed being here, and I hope I can, you know, I'm happy to come back if you wish to have.
I'm excited about my gifts. You need my address? What you need?
I need the address so I can get your gift to you.
All right, and then Mistress K had the whip up there. I just said S&M because I remember.
I was just reading
My
the
cousin-
comments. I was just trying to give the viewers what they wanted. Bend over.
My cousin would like to pay money for something that my wife may not approve of. I'd have to ask her.
Oh Lord!
I'll teach your wife how to do it. That way, when you can turn your naked puzzle night into something really fun,
Right?
I'm gonna give away a little secret here. We already have 2 whips. So
Manu, let me assure you of something. That was not a secret. Okay.
oh, okay.
I know you for 15 minutes. That was not shocking.
I'm glad I give that vibe.
No, that's
Whoa,
good.
whoa! A little close to the mic there, Dan.
Oh yeah. That's how you can hear the detail.
We are grateful. We want to give a big thank you to Mistress K for coming in and being a part of our panel tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Right. We need to have you back as a guest as well, Mistress K. So you got to be a host before you got to be a guest, but we are so happy.
Anytime.
She is an amazing host, an amazing promoter, comedy producer, amazing comic, everything. You guys, Mistress K in the building. Follow her.
Amazing ass beater.
Ball buster.
Ball buster, ass beater, nutcracker. Let's put some more shit on this list.
Oh, wait a minute. Now I get it. Mistress.
Yeah.
Slow folks. The slow folks. I love it. Do you really go to Morehouse, or you just pick that sign up on the way over here? What happened?
I don't know. I think I just figured you to be so innocent that I was just like, oh, Mistress K, that's a really neat. Oh, okay.
It's a lifestyle, baby. It's a
Okay, you got to remember,
lifestyle.
I'm married. I've been out of the game for a long time. I just, you forget.
Sounds like I need to talk to your wife.
Slowly.
Don't sleep on her, okay? Don't sleep. So, I think I got 2 kids.
That don't matter. That just means that you have a weak pullout game, sir.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like Stephanie's brother with 7 kids.
Either
I'm
that or your
sorry, I
wife has
didn't
an
know.
amazing good that just like clenches.
Amazing good.
My wife is streaming this right now, so I gotta be real careful because I don't want to end up on the couch. But no, my wife is actually very sweet. She's wonderful. She puts up with me, and the most wonderful thing I think about it is that she's my best critic. I'll tell her a joke, and instead, and she's just straight with me. I'll tell her a joke and think, I'm like, hey, baby, isn't that funny? She's like,
No.
Did you think it was funny?
Reverse
What did you think
psychology,
was
I
funny
love it.
about that joke? And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'll go back to the drawing board with this one. She's like, if that's what you want to do. So yeah.
Whoa. So, and also I want to shout out Pamela Williams, because Pamela's not been here before. I believe this is Pamela's first time.
Yay, Pam.
Yay,
Pam is my
welcome, sis.
cousin in Chicago. She is a frontline healthcare worker. She's a nurse, and she is a person who champions women's issues and diversity. She's on the diversity committee at her hospital, and she gives a lot of opportunity to people. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate her for what she's done for people in Chicago in their health and for my family. So.
Wow. Yay, Pam.
Yeah.
The regulars are in here. Nick Craft Crew, one of our faves.
Sergio.
Let me get on down. Dan, of course, I'm just trying to make sure we say goodnight to everybody. I know I saw Lauren Bowman, my fave.
We had a Roderick in here, or a Roderick, and I don't know which one it is, Mr. Roderick Antery.
Roderick.
I love that name. I love that name, Mr. K. How do you say it right? How do you say it correct?
It's Roderick.
Oh, it's Roderick.
Oh, I was like Roderick. I was like, what?
I know. Somebody calls him like Roger, Rupert. I'm like, what?
Okay, Dana. Now somebody's gonna use that because it's not Leroy, it's Leroy, right?
Right.
So it's not Roderick, it's Roderick.
Roderick. I'm from
Roderick. And that's what I'm gonna start calling
reading is fun.
Roderick Davis.
Roderick Davis. Is that his name, Roderick?
When he runs for Senate, it's gonna be Roderick Davis.
Really, Gucci Mane.
You have to have the 3 syllables. He's right. You have to make it 3 syllables.
I'm not messing with y'all. I'm a Southern woman. I grew up with a cousin named Roderick, and that's what. That's
awesome because I haven't heard anyone with that name. It's awesome. It's a rare name.
I had a cousin, and my great grandmother one time, she was talking to me, and I loved her to death. I lived with her in Mississippi, and she